Thank you for joining Waterbreak. This episode is brought to you by Dusty Rose Tallow. To find out more about them, go to dustyrosetallow.com. Enjoy Waterbreak. Hey y'all, welcome to Waterbreak. It's good to be with you. I'm Gabriel, the water boy. This is my wife, Annie.
Hey guys.
The water girl. This week for Waterbreak, we're actually going to go through a number of case studies, not just one. Case studies. And, I think this is kind of goes a lot of ways without saying. Not everybody's the same. Not everybody, fits into these categories that my wife's going to be working with here. But
a lot of people.
A lot of people will.
Yeah.
And but it's always good to kind of go through case studies. In fact, I was just thinking about this on the way. I was driving in from our house to work today, and thinking I think doctors should go through these kind of case studies.
I think that they know, babe. They have for years.
I don't know.
They have.
I don't know. Okay. All right. Because I just, all right. I'll let you have it.
Okay.
So we're going to go through a number of case studies. Anything you want to say before we get into the case study?
No, it's what you just said. I mean, in one way, everybody is bio-individual, as we like to say. And it's true, everybody's different, but also we're all kind of the same. So I've just learned, noticed over the years that there's different subsets, genres of people. Maybe that's the best way to describe it. And there's so many of you that it's just actually becomes pretty easy to group people under certain categories. And that's not to take away from your individuality, but it actually can make it helpful because you can actually speak to all these different types of people and it can be helpful. So that's what I figured we would do today. We'll just describe different types of people. And those people tend to all have the same types of tendencies, struggles, and there are certain things that they should stop doing, should start doing, that can greatly help them with their health. So, and we're going to read, I wrote up some little examples and then, maybe you'll recognize yourself in one of them.
All right. So this is Billy Joe.
Oh gosh, I knew you were going to name them. I knew it. It's so predictable. No one is named Billy Joe.
East Coast. Oh, yes. In the South. See, our news are interesting.
Do you know a Billy Joe? She doesn't know a Billy Joe, okay? That's a made-up, stupid movie name.
I think she's lying. All right.
Okay, all right.
So, this is Billy Joe. She's cold. She's 250 pounds heavier, but she should
30 to 50 pounds.
350 pounds. She's 30 to 50 pounds there. Part of the fun of this is me reading the case.
I know it's.
So she's got a little overweight. Skin is dry, hair is thinning out and falling out. She has joint muscle pain. Joint and muscle pain,
Mm-hmm.
brain fog, constipated, low energy. She's weaker than she should be in the gym. Sometimes she wonders if she has actual depression. Sleep is bad. She's tried every diet under the sun and her weight won't budge. Doc says labs look normal.
Yay.
It's just part of getting older.
Oh my gosh.
So gaining 50 pounds is just part of getting older.
Or it's just being, totally. That's kind of the belief and the message from the doctors. Now, Gabe, what do you think? What do you think is wrong with her? And by her, I mean y'all, because there are so many of you. Some of you might know what your issue is and you might not, but I guarantee so many people listening are like, oh, that's me. That's me. I check all of those boxes.
Well, I would just say, my guess is, I mean, a lot of this could be driven by stress, lifestyle, lack of sleep, and, or this could be deeper issues like maybe a thyroid problem.
You nailed it. Really good. You've been paying attention.
Really,
You've been paying attention.
Guy.
Well, it doesn't help that this was me.
You were never 30 pounds overweight.
Okay, listen, I was heavier than I should be. I wasn't 30 pounds overweight because I know exactly what to do, exactly. But I was all of these things. Dry skin, constipated, brain fog, achy, just everything hurt, just puffy, can't think straight, just all systems in my body low, right? Just everything low, super thin hair. It was just, it's terrible. Terrible, terrible time. So this.
I remember your hair being thin. I remember your hair. We're gonna do this live on the show. I remember your hair going through periods where your hair was falling out.
Oh my gosh. It was like clumps of hair in the drain. Clumps.
I remember that because I had to clean it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how you know. But I didn't talk about it all the time, but it was incredible.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, all those symptoms go back and re-listen, you guys, if you're like, wait, like this really resonates with me. I'm going to call these women, and again, there's so many of you,
Billy Joe.
all of you Billy Joes out there. This is your labs look normal, hypothyroid women. And again, so many of you. So if this resonates with you, even, half to 75% of these symptoms resonate with you, please listen up. Some of y'all have felt this way for as long as you can remember, and that's part of the problem. Like, you just felt so bad for so long, and you can't really, it's become your normal, and you can't really remember a time where you felt any different, and so you're just sort of used to it, right? Or, and that's terrible, and that's one way that people go undiagnosed, because you don't tend to advocate for yourself or, go hunt down a doctor and be like, something's wrong, when you're just like, I don't remember anything better than this. Like, I think this is just how it is. I can't remember anything different. Or, and this is also common, there was a trigger at some point in your life. Usually it's a big stressful trigger, like a traumatic birth, a death, a major sickness. A lot of things can trigger hypothyroidism, specifically the autoimmune version of it, which is Hashimoto's. And I will say, at least the last stats I've heard quoted, I mean, like 90% of hypothyroid cases are Hashimoto's. So it's quite rare to find a case of hypothyroidism where autoimmunity is not the driving cause of it. It's possible. It's very possible. But a lot of the time, that is what it is. It's Hashimoto's. Okay. So a lot of you also, interestingly, will have high cholesterol. That's just something to note. So if I ever talk to anybody who's checking some of these boxes, weight loss resistant, and it just doesn't make sense, brain fog, lethargy, cold all the time, or just don't handle cold very well. My fingers and toes used to turn white. It can look a lot of different ways.
You had Reynolds.
Raynaud's, at least that's what I thought before I understood I was hypothyroid. A lot of them have high cholesterol, and that's a really, really, really common pattern that you can almost take to the bank. And I don't know why doctors don't recognize that. Like, okay, this person has high cholesterol. They have all these other things. Let's do a deep dive into their thyroid. Let's test beyond TSH, for example, but a lot of times they don't do that. A lot of times also, you guys have picked up on the fact that gluten, any amount of gluten, well, especially a lot of gluten, makes you feel really bad. And that's simply because gluten, through a process called molecular mimicry, basically mimics thyroid. It looks like it. The gliadin protein structure of gluten looks like thyroid. So when you eat gluten, it triggers that antibody response and makes you feel really, really bad. Okay. So some of you have noticed that. And it's too bad, you guys. One of the reasons, probably the biggest reason that you guys have gone undiagnosed is, number one, this sort of feeling this badly is so common that it has just become one and the same with getting older. And so it's not even a red flag, even though it should be. Another reason, and this is a really big one, is that most doctors are trained to only look at TSH. And TSH can very easily be in range, even though the range itself is not very good. I think it's like point something all the way up to 5. I mean, a TSH of 5 is insanely high. It's way higher than it should be, in my opinion. But you can be in range and still be severely hypothyroid. I'm a perfect example of that. I had a TSH that was in range between 2 and 3, somewhere in there. And I didn't get my free T3 checked. I didn't deep dive the thyroid, even though that shouldn't even be considered deep dive. That should just be standard, for a really long time because of that. And when I did, my free T3 was a 2.0, which is incredibly low. And since I have gotten on the right amount of thyroid medication, or thyroid replacement, hormone replacement, I should say, all of these symptoms have gone away. My life is incredibly different and better. So anyways, if you resonate with all of that, you guys, double click on thyroid. It's a really, really big deal. Just so you guys all know, when you're looking at thyroid, you need to be looking at TSH, free T4, free T3, at least your TPO antibodies, at least, to rule out Hashimoto's. If you're a nerd and you really want to know what's up, reverse T3. And then I always encourage people to look at vitamin D, and then even more so B12 and ferritin at the same time. Low B12 and low ferritin can often mimic hypothyroid symptoms. And I've also noticed that a lot of times low thyroid can pull those markers down. Those low ferritin and B12 can actually pull thyroid down. So you got to look at them all together. Make sure you're looking at those things and you're working with a doctor or somebody who knows what they're doing to help you out. Okay. And the last thing I'll say about thyroid is
Real quick.
Oh, yeah.
On those blood tests, we found out in the past that doctors might not pull all those different panels that Annie just talked about.
Rarely will they.
And so usually you have to be very specific and request it. And it's just for whatever reason, how the doctors were taught, what they were taught to be concerned about, not be concerned about.
Yeah.
There's a variety of reasons why that's happened. But, we've had situations where we've had to tell Or you've had to tell us, like, they get the blood test, it comes back, it didn't have everything they requested on it, so they got to go back and ask
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. You got to put for it quite a bit. And I'll just say, free T3 is your active thyroid hormone, and it is the one that is going to correlate the closest and the most to how you actually feel. TSH, not so much. Okay. So it's really, really important that you pull that lab in particular. And the last thing I'm going to say for you guys is that some of you have been diagnosed, like at some point in your life, you had a TSH that was so high that the doctors are like, you probably have a thyroid. You might have Hashimoto's. Who knows? We're going to put you on some Synthroid, or some Levo. And they do, but it's not either enough T4 for you to actually get optimized, and I see this even more commonly, it's actually not the right type of medication. Way more people do better on some combination of T4 plus T3, which you can get via various different types of NDT, natural desiccated thyroid. You can go compounded. You could even do synthetics like leothyronine, which is T3, and levothyroxine, which is T4, and find the right combination of those two together. But so many people, and this is a whole other subset of people where it's like, well, I am on thyroid medication, but I still feel like all these things. I still have all these hypothyroid symptoms, but because they're on some low dose of something, they're like, it can't be that. It's got to be something else. That's it. Just taking something for your thyroid is not good enough. You really need to be titrating up a dose, and the right type of dose and the right combination that's going to fit for you, and you really that's going to work for you. And you really need to find a doctor who's going to be able to help you with that. We interviewed Dr. Amy Horniman last week. We were talking about testosterone then, but her number one thing is thyroid, and she and her team do a phenomenal job on that very thing. Okay, so if that's you, you're like, I'm on something, but it's clearly not working. You want to hop and find a doctor who's going to do a better job for you. Okay, so that's person number one. All right, here's number two.
Let's just call this guy Gabriel.
I would call him Gabriel. That's a good name. That fits.
For all you Gabriels out
I wrote a little story about you.
there. This is unrelated to me. No,
It's really uncanny
call him Waterboy.
how familiar this is. All right, go
So
ahead.
this is number 2. He's a dad of 5. He runs 3 businesses and coaches all the teams. Super hard worker, averages 5 or 6 hours sleep a night, and barely has time to do yard work and house projects on the weekends. He's a super hard worker, as he's already stated. Thank you.
Such a hard
And a great dad and husband. Thank you.
Great.
But he is in his 40s. This was also true.
If you can't read it, I will.
I got this. And has a dad bod, high BP, high blood pressure,
Sure.
and fasted insulin of 25. I don't know about the 25, but
Well,
I do.
you know,
My diabetes runs in the family.
I took some creative license, but not very much.
No, not very much. My grandpa, when you get diabetes, and especially in the last couple decades, the doctors have not really known how to fully treat it that well. My grandpa basically died of diabetes, but dementia, a number of things. Diabetes just kind of takes out one organ at a time. I don't have diabetes, at least right now that we know. But my grandpa died from diabetes. My dad died from diabetes. He really died from a heart attack, but I mean, is
Complications.
Yeah. So right now I have high blood pressure. I'm just gonna add.
You can do whatever you want. I mean, it's very personal.
It is.
It's your case study.
It's my case study. Leave it alone. Let me define myself. And so my blood pressure, is a month ago is about 200. And then I haven't worked out seriously. We've done microburst workouts and stuff that we talked about. I've worked out with my son this summer, but nothing serious.
Yeah.
Probably 2 times a week, maybe if lucky this summer. I got a 3rd time in.
And why nothing serious? Explain why.
Why what?
Why have you not done anything serious up till now?
Because I didn't know I had high blood pressure.
No, but why? Yeah. Why weren't you prioritizing it? Like, why weren't you making it happen?
I wasn't I wasn't prioritizing because I'm just so busy with everything else.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
like going and working out in the morning, I felt like I was taking away from my family, or working out at night, I was taking away from my family, or at night, I didn't even have space to work out at night because I had sports, or I just wouldn't fit it in.
Right.
So
I think a lot of dads can probably resonate with that.
yeah. One of the things that happened in my schedule that made this more doable too is I'm not coaching basketball anymore. So my morning is actually free. And so I drop my kids off at sports and at 6 a.m. or whatever, and then I'll go work out for an hour, come home, shower, and that kind of thing. So it was really hard to prioritize. And so that was probably the biggest reason for this. But then I would say I was traveling in August, and I got home from my trip, and I checked my blood pressure randomly, but it was over 200.
Really high.
It was really high. And now that I've been for a month, basically I've been working out 3-4 times a week for a month now, and been feeling good and feeling like, I mean, guys, in some sense, they get back in the gym and they look at the weights and they start seeing definition in their body. I mean, it's a little easier for the guys.
It's a lot easier for the guys.
It's for the for the girls
Actually.
to actually see the benefit of weights in a month, kind of thing. So I'm already feeling it, that kind of thing. But my blood pressure now really ranges between 170 and 190 now. So it's already consistently dropped a good 10 to 20 points. But man, I got a ways to go. So
Yeah, well,
there you go. That's me adding to the
it's
tape.
fine. I'm very proud of you. He's made some serious changes. For some, maybe this is also you. You have to see a horrifyingly scary number, and your wife has to look at you and be like, well, you're going to have a heart attack.
What do you get?
And that's what it takes to really prioritize this stuff.
So I started pretending right there I was having a heart attack.
Everybody's like this, though. You're not unique. Number one, you are incredibly busy. You have more on your plate than maybe even the average busy dad. And I think most dads out there are working hard.
Yep.
They're family men. It's just hard, and it's like, in the back of your head, I should take care of my health, but you're too busy taking care of everybody else. And you're too busy just doing other things. And it's just so easy to bump it. And you'd rather spend time with your family with any time you have left, or get a little bit more sleep. You're probably underslept as it is. I mean, you certainly have been. I think for you, everybody's stress comes out somehow. And with men in particular, as it can be true with women, but you see it a lot with men. You see insulin resistance, and you see blood pressure just being a huge issue. I mean, how many people do you guys know who are on blood pressure medication, or are you yourself, like in your 40s, like where the doctor's like, this number's scary high, I'm putting you on something, and it's so common. And I think stress is a huge driver. I know it is for you, and that's frustrating because it's not. We talk about stress all the time on the show. It's not something you can really control. Like, you try so hard to be thankful and have gratitude and handle things well mentally, but your body still picks up on this stuff. And I just don't think it's going to show somehow. It's going to come out in some metric. And I think for you and for a lot of men, it comes out with blood pressure. But blood pressure is one of those metrics, unlike possibly cholesterol, where you get flagged if you have a total cholesterol of 205, which I do not think is a problem. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, I don't think that's a big deal. I do think chronic high blood pressure is really bad. And so make sure you guys are staying on top of your blood pressure and pay attention to it, and make changes that you need to make. But all that
I
to
just
say,
thought my body was high performing.
well, it is high
High
performing.
performing.
It is high
Blood
performing.
pressure is like
But you don't.
higher your blood pressure.
You don't want that. Yeah, you don't want that. So, well, let's talk through. We can kind of talk about what Gabe's
Okay.
been doing, but also what just your general guy needs to do, because it's one thing to recognize yourself in this, which so many husbands and men do, but it's like, what are you supposed to do? Quit your job or just stop? You only have, it's like the same thing when you talk to a mom with 5 little kids. It's like, okay, yeah, it's stressful and I don't have time. What's your solution? So I want to give you guys some
I can't
practical.
stop raising my kids.
Yeah, like exactly. There's certain things you just can't get rid of, So number one, if you are the Presbyterian version of this, which Gabriel certainly is, the number one big hitter to help your health, especially if you're looking at blood sugar, insulin, blood pressure, fatty liver, things like that, you got to drink less. Guys, you got to drink less. And you've actually done that. You've done fantastic. Completely
My
cut it
life
out.
is worse because of it.
She is sad at night.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but as in, like-
you've cut way back.
Yeah.
You cut way back.
And again, part of what I'm trying to, part of my process is I'm trying to go back and kind of reset everything, reset my blood pressure, that kind of stuff. And so one of the fastest and best way to do that is just kind of like you take everything out of your life
Every good thing.
every good thing
Just kidding.
that might affect, it's not everything. I may eat steak and, I still have a glass of wine on Sabbath, so I haven't cut it out for,
That's still though
Yeah.
drastically less.
Yeah, normally we'd have a glass of wine every night for dinner.
Yeah, right.
And
Which
then
I don't have a
scotch
problem.
later,
I don't have
you know?
I don't have a problem with you guys theoretically or morally at all. But if your blood work looks the way you did, especially if you combine high insulin, diabetes in the family, high blood pressure, and higher liver markers than we like,
Yeah.
alcohol's got to go.
Well,
Alcohol's got to go, and it's a problem in our circle. I mean,
particularly it's the hard alcohol that really impacts the blood pressure. And then the other thing is I haven't had ice cream, and I'm dying for a bowl of ice cream. I actually want ice cream more than I want scotch right now.
Do you want it right now?
I got a 100%. Give me a bowl of turtle nut caramel sundae and add milk to it. I'll eat that whole.
He adds milk to his ice cream.
So good.
It's disgusting. I have to leave. I can't watch him.
I mean, why not milk on top of milk? Ice cream on milk
Really
on top of ice
gross.
cream. It's so good.
Well, anyways, he's drink less, you guys. It is not a health beverage, okay? And if you are already high stress and you're more sedentary than you should be, alcohol is just not going to help you, okay? So that's an easy thing you can cut out. It doesn't take any time. It's good for all of us to go for some time without drinking anything. Do it, okay? Number two, and it just depends on what kind of dad you are. If you're the kind who works at home from home, this doesn't apply. But a lot of dads are out working during the day, and they're eating out so much for lunch, right? Oftentimes skipping breakfast because they're not that hungry in the morning. It's easy to skip. You're in a hurry. You're driving kids to work. You're working out. You're doing whatever. Skipping breakfast, eating really terrible food at lunch every single day, and that really adds up. So stop eating out. And like one thing you can do is go home for lunch. Another thing you can do is just pack leftovers. And this is so important. Get your wife on board. She probably is on board. If you have meat and vegetables left over from last night, just pack it up, take it, make a new habit, because eating out every day.
And I'll add edit.
What do you think? What do you think that's doing for you?
I'll add edit to this. There's a little Hawaiian restaurant close to us.
Oh, yeah, we do love them.
They serve great chicken and great vegetables. So basically, you can structure this in such a way where it's like your life doesn't suck.
You can.
You can really do this. So like Local Grinds Hawaiian restaurant, they got great chicken and vegetables. So that's all I order there, and it's just totally fine. I got a couple places where I actually like their salads. I like to go get them. Where I can throw almost all the meat on a kind of thing, and so
that's a great option for you.
More meat than salad, but it's great. So those would be the going out to eat lunch options, which I do regularly.
And you know what's funny, you guys, is that like I can go out to eat at almost any place, and I can figure out how to eat healthy. I don't think it's that hard, but I have noticed that men, and don't be insulted, but men have this sort of learned helplessness a little bit when it comes to eating out. When it comes to eating out, well, let me finish.
I hate.
I'm not talking about you.
Them editing what I want.
I'm not talking about you, but a lot of men. Well, you've gotten better too. Will go into they know they're like trying to eat clean. They're trying to eat better. They know it. They go. They sit down, and they're like, "Well, I got to get fish and chips. I have to." There's nothing else to order. And it's like, yeah, there's a billion things you could have ordered. You could have got this side salad. You could have asked for salmon. You could have put it on there. But it's just like this inability to get creative and think outside the box. You're right. It's not that hard. I can do it in an airport. I can do it at a fast food restaurant. I can do it anywhere. You can eat healthy. You can.
I was traveling in the airport a couple weeks ago. I went to Chick-fil-A and got just their bunless chicken. It was their grilled chicken, bacon, cheese goodness, and no bun or anything, and it was actually really good.
I'm really proud of you for that. So yeah, it is very possible, to his point.
I might have had some waffle fries.
But you really, guys, if you don't even have to go out to a restaurant, you can just bring food from home, get your wife on board. I promise you she will be on board. She doesn't like the dad bod either, so she's going to be like, here you go, okay? You can walk on your lunch break. If there really is no other time, there might be some of this might be like what we found is that you just have to want it enough, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to carve out time. I have to. It doesn't have to be hours and hours, but some of this just might be like you need to reprioritize. But if stuff's tight and you don't know where you're gonna put things, you can walk during your lunch break. And for dudes, you can lose 30 pounds walking, you guys. Like, I've seen it. You can literally stop drinking soda and walk every day for 30 minutes, and you can lose a crap ton of weight. It's not fair, okay? Women, this is rarely the case for them, but walking actually goes a long way. And then as time goes on, if you want to take this a little more seriously, and this is what we have Gabe doing, has like maybe 1 day set a week. He's got 3 mornings set aside for a quick whole body lift, which is we're trying to prioritize muscle build. And I don't want
30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, quick, which is very doable. I just write him a little workout.
Long workout.
And you don't need to, especially if you have frequency. You don't need to. But I think he has 1 day where he's like going for a run. But the other day, we were like, okay, how are we going to get more cardiovascular work into your life? And we talked about just sticking a couple of sprints on your bike sprints on the end of one of his lifts. That takes like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You sprint, you rest 2 minutes, you sprint, you rest 2 minutes, maybe get 3, and you leave. Like it doesn't. Yes. Yeah. And then another thing I said is just run a hard mile once a week. Just tack it on to the end of your lift. Like you guys, like you don't need an hour to do anything. And it doesn't help when that's kind of your mindset. Well, I can't run 5 miles, so I can't do cardio. That's not true at all. So you can get creative there quite a bit. And then lastly, you can trigger session if you need to. And Gabe's done this at times, and it actually is quite effective if you stick with it. The cool thing about trigger sessions is you don't need to dress down. You don't need to go to the gym. You can literally just be at your office, at work, stop and do as many push-ups as you can do, and then move on with your day. And then stop and do as many squats as you can do and move on with your day. I've seen people actually improve their push-up, improve their pull-up, quite a bit working out this way. It's a little unconventional, but it works really well. So even if you are this busy dad, guy, who really needs a minimum effective dose, those are some ideas right there. And feel free to talk to me, call me if you need even more structure, because this is a lot of you. And the sad thing is, if you don't intervene with ideas or concepts like what we just talked about, you are going to end up with serious problems. And it's honestly better to start before that point. It's better to start before you actually have full-blown diabetes, before your doctor is trying to put you on a blood pressure medication, because all of your life, your life choices, your diet, your sedentary, all of it is got you on a trajectory, and that's not going to stop if you do not course correct. Like, you have to. And of course, I recommend starting earlier rather than later. All right. So you can do it. Busy dads, you can do it.
That's how you handle Gabriel.
That's how you handle Gabriel. Yeah.
All right, number 3. This is Pam.
Pam.
Pam. She's 51 and has always been skinny, has never really exercised except for maybe walking because, again, she's skinny. Maybe she used to be a dancer. She has never worried about her weight, but now in her 50s, she's starting to feel saggy. She has 37 grandkids, and her doc says she has osteopenia.
Osteopenia, yeah.
Oh,
It's a precursor to
osteoporosis.
yeah. Like pre-diabetes,
And
but for
she,
adults.
for the first time, ever gaining weight in the middle.
For the first time ever is gaining weight in the middle. This is the skinny mini.
Skinny mini?
The skinny mini,
Okay.
you guys. And there's a lot of you out there. You guys are the worst. Like, you are so hard to help. I'm just gonna be really honest, and this is the problem. You are the girls, and maybe you are this girl, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your sister. Most women hate these women because they're just born thin, and they're always thin, and it doesn't really matter. Some of them are like those thin people who eat like a horse but don't gain weight. Those people are out there. They're rare, but they're out there. Others are like that 90s thin mom who's been low calorie, low fat her whole life, like very, just eats like a little bird.
Her bones are starting.
Yeah, yes, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Either one of those works, but these are people who are born lean, petite, small framed. You could be tall, you can be a short version, and they've always been that way. And because of it, they've never exercised because they haven't needed to, because they're not overweight, right? Because sadly, most women only are motivated to exercise, or they've been taught or they've learned that you only need to exercise in order to burn calories to lose weight, which is so sad because it's actually not a good weight loss strategy, but you really need it for a lot of other health reasons, which we're about to talk about. So you get these skinny minis just sort of living their lovely skinny life. And then, like, what do we call her? Pam. When you hit a certain point, it's usually perimenopause into menopause. And remember, perimenopause on average kind of runs through your 40s. It can hit earlier. It does sometimes. But on average, kind of the decade of your 40s, the average age for full menopause, that's when you literally, like, truly have gone a full year without a period. That's just kind of the metric we came up with. The average age in America right now is 52. Okay, so she's 51. You get to here and you have this terrible, terrible situation of basically years of poor nutrition, just under eating, just not eating well. And because of that, having very low muscle mass, right?
Mhm.
These are skinny, skinny girls who have very low muscle mass. They've not been lifting. They've not been trying to build muscle mass. They're hard gainers to begin with. They don't have it naturally. That runs into menopause, and that is a disaster, okay? And this is when they call me and they're like, well, my doctor says I have osteoporosis and it's in my hip, it's in my spine, it's in whatever. What can you do for me? And you know what? It's kind of hard, guys. And again, we'll try to help you. It's never too late. We try to help everybody. You can always do something. But it is so bad to wait till you are in like the throes of perimenopause and your hormones are like this, kind of slowly going down the crapper, or that you're already in menopause and you're making nothing. And you're so under muscled and your bones are so brittle and you're like, what can you do for me? It's really, really bad. Okay. Eating low calorie, low fat, and eating like a little bird a lot of your life is going to already set you up for poor bone health poor hormone health because our hormones are made predominantly out of fat. And very low muscle mass, like we already talked about. And then once you hit menopause and hormones drop off, which unless you are replacing them, which I do recommend, they're gonna do, your ovaries just finally, kaput, and all of that hormone production that you had before goes down, and that adds to less bone, less muscle, less insulin,
But goes
sensitivity.
down more.
Even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically, you guys, estrogen and testosterone, estradiol in particular, are super protective of bone, muscle, and estradiol also provides some amount of insulin sensitivity. So when you lose it, you can end up in a really bad place. And that is, by the way, and that's why I added here for poor Pam, that for the first time, even though she's so skinny, she's noticing weight gain in the middle, and I get this all the time from women who are in their late 40s, early 50s, where they're just like, "I've gained like, 10, 15 pounds all in my middle where I've never experienced this before. I've never gained weight in my midsection before. I haven't changed anything. I haven't changed what I'm eating. I haven't changed my exercise." And they're not lying. And a lot of, I would chalk that up to a couple things. Number one, when your ovarian function starts to go downhill and then finally just stop, your body leans harder into your adrenals to produce what hormones they can produce. They don't do as good of a job as your ovaries did, but your body's trying. So your adrenals are overtaxed, and when your cortisol comes up and you're stressed out of your mind, you're going to get more weight gain in the middle. And secondly, like I said, when you lose estradiol, that's some insulin sensitivity. So you become more insulin insensitive or insulin resistant once you hit menopause. So it's just a really bad place to be. Um, when you're a skinny mini. And I just, again, like, we'll help anyone that we can, but it's way better to be a little bit more preventative and to think more long term. And again, in order for you to do that, you have to understand that strength training, nutrient dense food, things like that are important for your longevity. It may not feel like something that you need right now, but you're going to be full of regret later, right? So what does this woman need? You need a huge shift in your diet. You need to shift to a major emphasis on nutrient dense food, specifically protein and fat. A lot of these thin, petite women have gut issues. Their digestion is not very good. They struggle to eat. They struggle with hunger. Some of that is because of just genetically the way that they are made, and some of it is because they're dealing with years of not eating very much, right? So it could be a combination of any of those things. So sometimes you have to, number one, make sure your food is cooked really, really well. And number two, these are the kind of people that often need to eat small meals frequently throughout the day, right? Like, and that's not the common recommendation right now. People are like, you need to fast, you need to have digestive rest, you need to go at least 5 hours. If you can't, you have blood sugar problems. And in some cases, that's true, sure. But for people like this, they're completely catabolic. Their bones are brittle. They have no muscle. They need constant stimulus. They need protein all day long. So you might have to invest in a good quality protein shake. You might need to have a snack before bed in order to start actually supporting your body, at a muscular level, at a bone level, at a hormonal level, and also, theoretically be able to actually grow some muscle. In order to grow muscle, ladies, and to increase bone density, you got to strength train, okay? And you all are the worst because you've never even looked at a weight. Like, never. Like, seriously, like, you guys are so bad. And I'm just like, and usually you weren't athletes either. That's not your thing. Like I said, and like maybe you danced, you know, like maybe you dabbled in dance.
Yeah.
And I'm not, no shade on dancing, but like, you guys are hard. Okay. So, like,
Dancing.
yesterday,
What's the tennis, ping pong
I don't know.
that we played with Joe?
Oh, pickleball. Yeah, maybe you play pickleball.
Pickleball.
Maybe you play pickleball, but that's probably, even that's a little edgy, even that's like a little bit much. So, you guys are hard. So, starting like yesterday, start making some changes. You need to majorly prioritize living and eating and exercising in a way that's going to improve bone density, improve hormone status, hormone health, and improve muscle. And by that, I mean grow muscle. Okay. That's going to be hard for you. So you might want to hook up with a coach or trainer, find somebody who knows what they're doing. And then lastly, you're probably, especially at this age, heavily consider hormone replacement and find a doctor who understands female hormones and is not afraid of replacing hormones for you. They're incredibly important. And again, like I said, specifically estrogen and testosterone, very hard to hold on to bone density or hold on to muscle or grow muscle without them. Okay. So anyways,
Okay.
Any questions about the skinny mini?
Nope.
I was kind of mean to them.
Let's call this one Daisy. Number 4.
Okay.
Number 4.
Daisy.
Daisy goes to 4 spin classes a week and hit class on her off days. Has been doing this routine for about 9 years and still kind of chubby. Runs Bloom's Day every year, which is a 3-mile race.
It's a 10K.
10K.
So she'll run an occasional 10K.
Day,
Okay,
yeah,
she's yeah.
All right, so she's got some in shapeness to her. Tries eating well, but binges at least once a week because she's starving and craves carbs. Looks and feels puffy.
Gyms are full of this girl, like full. Okay, this is the classic cardio junkie. There can be guys, but they are more commonly girls, and they're everywhere. And seriously, like
I think cardio is going to be the most effective.
yes,
in their life.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And you guys have been doing this. You've been doing your spin. You've been doing your 5-mile runs. You've been doing your HIIT class. Very consistently, very devotedly for years, and you are not even close to the body that you want to be in. You, if anything, have probably just gained weight slowly as you've gotten older. It is clearly not working for you, and you continue to do it. Okay, so number one, that's what we call insanity. And if it's not working, you should not try to do it harder. You should change it. Okay. So that's plea number one. But number two, let's talk a little bit more about why this strategy is so bad and why a lot of you binge eat. Okay. And I know that's kind of a touchy subject. And I'm not trying to get all like, oh, let's talk about the psychology. I just, binge eating is actually really, really common in the fitness world for a lot of different reasons. People eat for a lot of different reasons. But anytime you find yourself eating a lot, you have kind of an out of control feeling, and you know you're not just eating because you're hungry. You're literally just shoveling food in, trying to get some sort of dopamine hit or trying to get some, and you don't even know. You're like, why am I even doing this? And you're not even thinking about, you're not even like enjoying the bite you're chewing. You're literally just thinking about shoveling the next one. That's what I mean. And binge disorders or binge eating can be anywhere from like, well, I accidentally just ate that whole bag of chips all the way to like something very severe. But a lot of these women binge eat because of how much high intensity cardio they're doing. And you're literally setting your body up to do that. Number one, because this much regular cardio usually creates very, very high chronic elevated cortisol. Now, cortisol is not all bad. A lot of times I think we talk about it in a very negative light on the show because it's a problem for a lot of people, but it's not in and of itself a bad thing. It's supposed to be elevated in the morning. It gets us up, it gives us energy, it gets us moving, and we're supposed to have high cortisol in the morning and it's supposed to taper throughout the day. It's also very normal when you exercise, you know, intensely to get a spike and then it should calm back down. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it's literally like spin class Monday, run Tuesday, spin again Wednesday, all the way down the line, plus all the other life stresses, plus not sleeping well, plus this many kids, plus all these things, you're going to end up with cortisol that is jacked up due to your choices way more often and way more than it should be. And guys, when cortisol, is doing that chronically, it can very much impede weight loss. And a lot of you are finding this. It slows your metabolism. It increases fat storage. It definitely cues fat storage right around the middle. So you see that cordo belly. It's so common that there's a name for it, that puffiness in the middle that often makes no sense. And it does make you want to eat sugar. Like it really, really does. So, and just cardio in general triggers hunger. And we talk about this all the time. We talk about how running is not a great weight loss strategy because it makes you too hungry. So these girls are literally like running, and running and running and spinning and spinning, spinning, and then going home and like eating completely out of control or maybe restricting for a little bit because they have enough willpower and then binging, right? Because you can those cues are too strong. Like you just can't. You only have so much finite willpower and it's going to come for you. So honestly, really feel bad for these people because a lot of them are just like, what is wrong with me? And they're just on this terrible hamster wheel of like, well, I binged and I ate all the chocolate cakes. So I have to go to spin and I'll do an extra one because I binged. And then that makes you want to eat more. And it's just this hamster wheel of terribleness. Okay. And just ultimately look at yourself, assess how you look, what you weigh, how you feel. If you've been doing this sort of thing off and on for years and you're not even close to where you want to be, make some changes. Okay, guys? I mean, my gosh, that would be true of anything. If any protocol, if anything, what you're doing is not working, you need to make a change. So number one, you guys need to get out of the cardio loft, get off of the spin bike, and you need to go build some muscle. And I do not mean when I say that, go find some class in the group fitness room where everybody's holding pink weights. Okay. That is not what I'm talking about. That does not count. Honestly, most of those classes fall under the category of cardio as well. Okay. You need to figure out now, I don't care if it's a friend who knows what they're doing, a personal trainer, maybe it is a group class, but it's a legit one that is actually teaching good technique, pushing heavy weight, emphasizing core strength and allowing you to take breaks in between your sets, all the things that we talk about all the time. You need actual strength training, okay? It is counterintuitive, but it's what you need. It's much less stressful to your body. It will give you a break from the constant elevated cortisol. It will build you muscle, which is your metabolism, okay? It is your metabolism. And lifting is not going to cue hunger like all that running is, okay? You probably need more blood sugar, more protein to help control your blood sugar. A lot of these people, they crave carbs, so that's mostly what they're eating. And if you need cardio, walk. Okay. This is why the bodybuilders do it. This is why they lift a lot and they walk, because walking is less stressful. It doesn't catabolize.
Can't run anyways.
Well, I mean, some of them probably could, but yeah, some of them probably couldn't. And it doesn't cue hunger. So it's a bad strategy. And I said that I just can't. This is such a problem. And I said this last time, maybe 2 shows ago, where I almost want to do a show on how group fitness is ruining health, because so many women, overweight women, are going to classes like this over and over and over again and not seeing a darn difference on the scale, in their blood work, in anything. Now, you can use these classes in a smart, helpful way, but so many of you are not doing that. So don't be a cardio junkie. Make the changes you need to make. And if you must, do anything while you're trying to calm that cortisol down, calm the stress down, get a ton of sleep and just walk.
All right. So
Okay.
we got 3 left.
Okay.
We got about 10 minutes.
I can do it. I can do it.
All right. So here's number 5.
Oh, yeah. I just can't see out of
Here's What About Bob? What about Bob? He's always been big frame, big calves, big. It was fun in high school when he was on the defensive line, but now he's just a huge, super caring, likable guy. And no matter how much protein he eats, he just gets bigger and bigger and feels worse. Truly, the current fitness health advice does not work for him. What would be that current health and
current health advice, which is like, do high intensity stuff, like do high rocks, do CrossFit, and eat a ton of protein. And which that is the standard gospel message for everybody right now, that you literally cannot get enough protein in your face. Like, you can. Like, the more the better. There is no limit. It is always good all the time. And these are the people, or the bodies, that Cam McDonald will call guardians. So these are just, and this is true of men and women, totally. I used a he in my example, but these are just the people who come out really big calves, big bodies, big. They've always been big. They're super strong. They're usually so likable. They're usually super caring. That just comes kind of with the personality. Of course, there's always exceptions. And I just feel so bad for them, because they usually are trying so hard to do all the right things, because they've always had an issue with being heavy. They've always had a slower metabolism. They've just known that. Like, I don't even eat that much, and I still hold on to weight. And the thing you need to understand about your body is that, number one, it needs less protein than everyone else, because it builds so easily. These people do great on plant foods, and I mean a lot of plant foods, almost to the point of being vegan for some people. And I know that's like scandalous, but I mean, listen, if it will make you feel better, do it.
Like, sure.
Do it. And I mean, I think everybody, there's a place for some protein, and plants have protein also. It's not like there's none there. It's just not as bioavailable as animal protein. But if you are in a really bad place, and this is you're just like this big person, and you have been trying the keto, you've been trying the carnivore. That's what everybody tells you to do. And you're like, this makes me feel like garbage, and I gained 3 pounds. I did not lose any weight on this. Try going the plant direction. You will feel a lot better. And then after some time, you can add a little more protein in and kind of see what your threshold is, okay? You also need to understand that your body gains weight under stress. That's genetically what it is predisposed to do. The skinny minis, a lot of them, who we talked about previously, they lose weight under stress. You guys, it's like there's nothing you can do about it. Your body will gain weight when you're stressed. So you need to think about, what are the things that are stressful to me? A lot of you, it's early morning stuff, like just getting up really early and doing a stressful job, taking a stressful meeting, doing a CrossFit class. Those things are not going to send good physiological cues to do. So as best as you can, de-stress your mornings. If you are exercising, move it to later in the day. If you can, stay up a little later at night, get more sleep in the morning. That is really important. And I'm not saying you guys can't handle it, like mentally. You can handle a lot. These sorts of bodies, honestly, usually shoulder a lot, and they can carry a lot of burdens. I'm just saying, to help your health, like to think about what physiologically is stressing you. And then lastly, you guys need to keep an eye on your thyroids, because a lot of you have a sluggish thyroid. And if it was me, I would be anywhere from really propping thyroid up with different different supplements, etc., to taking thyroid replacement if it was that sluggish. And again, a lot of you are just predisposed to low thyroid. And if you have low thyroid, you have low metabolic health. So anyways, that's the guardians. Okay. 2 more.
This would be trying to use names that I don't know of anybody besides my own name.
You're trying not to call anyone out.
Yeah, this would be Sally.
Oh man, your nails are
Yep.
super creative.
Helping here. Let's see. Been dieting on and off her whole life. Can't remember a time when she wasn't weight conscious or wishing she was a little thinner. Has tried all the diets over the years, but at 42, what used to work just does not work anymore. Nothing works, in fact. She's overweight and does not even eat that much. Doc advises to eat less, run more. She's thinking about trying a GLP-1. Absolutely desperate to figure things out.
Yeah, this is so many of you. This is not the skinny minis, but it's everyone else. Okay, and this could be a guardian, a big strong person, especially women. Totally, this could be her, where they've tried every diet under the sun and just dieted their metabolism down to almost nothingness. And that's really common for guardians because they naturally have a slower metabolism. Things stress their body out that don't stress out other bodies. And all the advice of keto, carnivore, high protein can be devastating to your body. So this could be you. And it could be anyone in between also. Okay. So just all of you, and we talk about this ad nauseum on this show, who have just been dieting your whole life, health conscious your whole life. And a lot of you don't even register that you've been dieting your whole life, but a lot of you have. Okay. If you've done the hydroxy cut, if you've done the, Oprah diet, if you've done the Special K thing, if you've done the slim fast shakes, if you've done any of that, it doesn't even have to have been all the time, the last 20 years. It's the yo-yo where you try this and then you fall off the wagon. You try this and you fall off the wagon. That takes a metabolic toll on a body. And then you add in all the other stresses and poor sleep and having kids and all the other things that happen to us in our 30s and 40s. This is where you end up, where you literally are barely eating and you're desperate and you want to try GLP-1. All of you are either overweight and just like, whatever, this is how it has to be, or you're thinking about Ozempic and or you're dabbling in aggressive fasting. Almost every single one of you. Like you talk about how like so many people are the same. Y'all are the same. And there are so many of you. And I don't blame you because it's a really terrible place to be. But I'm just here to say, and you guys have heard me say this before, that is not the right answer. You need a reverse diet. You need to work with someone, or if you can, do it on your own, where you actually slowly start eating more to actually breathe some life back into your metabolic rate. It is possible. Most people don't know about it. It's not talked about. Doctors don't seem to know or care, or I don't know. But that's what you need to do. The answer is not to eat less. You probably need to address your thyroid and your adrenals, because years of under eating can tank a thyroid. So unlike maybe somebody like a guardian who was born with a low thyroid function, which that could be you, you can be born with a perfectly great functioning thyroid and you can wreck it by dieting for too long. Okay, so a lot of you at this point, your thyroid, your free T3 is very low, and that's just part of your body's natural down regulation, because it's sensed that so few calories have been coming in for so long. Usually your adrenals are pretty taxed too, because under eating is very stressful, as it turns out. All right. Also, I will say, and then we'll get to the last one, a lot of y'all are doing a ton of cardio because you're desperate, because nothing's working, and I understand it, but you need to back off on the cardio. And you need to bring in some serious strength gaining and let that be a part of the reverse diet. It's a really great, those things work together really well. When I find a person like this, it's usually less cardio, maybe walking, but that's it for the time being. And we start really focusing on eating more slowly and muscle build at the same time. They go very nicely together. And basically the idea is to patiently do that until you get to a place where you actually have some room to work. You could actually go into somewhat of a deficit and be in a good place, as opposed to being at 800 calories, because that's where your metabolism is. Okay. So that's y'all. And we got one more.
Okay. So this is the last one. So we basically have 7 case studies here. Hope it's helpful to each of you.
Yeah.
A 28-year-old mom.
Oh, yes.
Let's call her.
What are we going to call her? There's a lot of these.
I don't know. Sally Sue.
Oh,
so we have Sally down. We have Sally Sue.
That's not. Is it hyphenated?
Yeah, it's hyphenated.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think they hyphenate.
This is just a tiny glimpse into what it was like trying to name our kids. This is just a little glimpse.
Us teams are really good.
Oh, they are. But it was bad. It was bad. We fought. It took a long time. Gosh. I'm kind of forgotten about it, but I'm being reminded right now.
28-year-old mom of 4.
4 under 5.
4 kids under 5 years old. You're obviously exhausted. Thin hair, major mood problems, anger that makes no sense. Puffy eyes, forgets to eat all the time, thinking about trying to do HIIT class.
Oh my gosh.
Thinking about it.
You poor moms. Poor moms.
Don't do it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, don't do it. Okay, ladies, there's a lot of you in our community. You guys are so poor, and I feel so bad. You've been heavily, heavily, heavily encouraged to have a bunch of babies, which I'm all for, but there's been no conversation about how to space those babies out, take care of your body. No one knows what's going on. You don't know how to take care of yourself. Your husband doesn't know how to take care of you. And you feel like not just garbage, but a crazy person, because that's what doing that will do to you. And I feel so bad for you. And a lot of y'all are really young too. It's like you're too young to be having these sorts of problems. And again, I know I need to keep it short, but the number one thing that you need to understand is that, I mean, your hormones can be whack postpartum, just after having one baby. Every woman is different. Some women, it's just pretty smooth sailing. For other women, it's extreme. A lot of times, it's really no one's fault. It's just the kind of body that you have, and you just have to kind of figure out how to deal with that. But if you take that and then you have another baby and you have another baby and you have another baby, 4 and 5 and 6, yes,
kind of thing.
you can end up in such a dysregulated hormonal place. And you hear this a lot, where these sweet little moms are like, I'm so angry. And I don't know why. It scares me. I don't feel like myself. I don't understand what's going on. Or I'm so sad and I don't know why. Or I'm so exhausted I can barely get off the couch. These are often hormonally driven symptoms, and it's because your body is just absolutely been destroyed, and it is so stressed out, it is so exhausted, all the wrong hormones are peaking at all the wrong times, you're not making enough of other ones, progesterone being one of them, and you feel like a crazy person. So the number one thing that these moms need is, number one, if this is you, stop having babies until you get your health under control. Okay, you can have as many as you want. You do you, but stop it until you can get your health under control. I hope your husband is listening with you. Husband, you need to stop it until you can get her health under control, okay? Number one to healing a situation like this is sleep. And I mean a lot of sleep. And that's one of the problems when you have this many babies this close together, is that you're always going to have like a newborn, a toddler, another slightly bigger toddler, all getting up at different times because one needs to eat, one had a bad dream, one's potty training. So if you can imagine, just the lack of sleep alone can create this sort of perfect storm of exhaustion, hormonal, chaos and such. So you need a break and you need sleep. So if this means literally hiring a babysitter so that you can nap during the day, this means getting a babysitter to watch your kids, or your husband working from home, you driving to your mother's house so you can take a nap. That is what you need to do. Okay. Sleep is so healing. And the lack of it chronically compounding over time is so damaging. And I don't think people understand this. Like, it's not just, oh, well, you'll feel tired. No, your blood sugar will be dysregulated, like, your hunger hormones will be out of whack, your circadian, everything will be messed up. Your hormones can't like literally reboot. You can't even produce them in the right time, in the right amount if you're not sleeping. So it's a really big deal. And I would say, um, one of the hormones that gets whacked out really easily due to stress and lack of sleep, which is what you guys are swimming in, is progesterone. And progesterone is your chill hormone. It's the anti-anxiety hormone. It's your chill. Okay. So if you're like, I have anxiety, I don't know why, I'm having panic attacks, I'm angry, a lot of times your body is failing to produce any or enough progesterone. And so you're going to get things like menstrual problems. You're going to get mood swings, rage, anxiety, and major sleep disturbance, which you really can't afford to have right now, for in the small little windows of time that you actually get to sleep. And again, what drives that usually is poor nutrition, stress, and lack of sleep in the first place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you need, everyone in your life needs to be gathering around you, and literally everybody's goal, your husband's goal, your in-laws' goal, your babysitter's goal, your family's goal needs to be to get you sleep, get you nutrient dense food. You absolutely should not be skipping meals. You should not be skipping breakfast. Anybody who's having any kind of adrenal problem needs to be eating a really good nutrient dense breakfast. So don't skip it. I don't care if you're not hungry. Exercise needs to be absolutely tabled for now. It is just another stress. And while I love exercise and I think everybody should be doing it in some capacity, your body is in like chaos mode. And what you need is sleep and food and sunshine, and that's about it. And I just don't think people are taking this seriously enough, and I see these rundown, ragged moms in the gym at 5 because, that's the only time the husband's home. And I'm just like, go home.
Yeah.
This is not what you need right now. Okay. So no high intensity, no hit. This is a time where you really need to heal and you need to take this seriously, because I've seen these situations get really bad, really, really bad.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Yeah. And I said at the very beginning of the show, that everyone's still different, but also God put patterns in the world where some of these things are just pattern oriented, and it should be able to help you. Hopefully, it kind of helps you analyze yourself, and you maybe have some distinct ways of dealing with it, or
you might be a version of one of these things.
Yeah, right.
But I didn't cover everything. Like you might be a professional athlete. I didn't talk about you here, but I mean, I could come up with probably other subsets too. Like
astronaut.
Not everyone's an astronaut. What if you're an astronaut? How does this apply if you have no gravity? I don't know.
And you eat their food.
Yeah, astronaut food. That's really good.
Dry food.
High-powered CEOs. I would probably have something different to say to them. There's other categories, but I would say so many people fall under these 7. Enough of you do that it was worth talking about. So hopefully that was helpful, guys.
Yep. So you're probably 1 out of 6 and 1 out of 7. So send this show to the other 6 people.
Yes.
It
can be a fun game. You can be like, guess which one is you.
Don't even give it. Don't even explain it.
Guess which train wreck.
You need to listen to the show.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to be in a conversation with us, email us at wrenchmedia@gmail.com. Wrench is spelled RENCH. Don't do the W thing. wrenchmedia@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Waterbreak, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.